to Menopause Morph, your time to change. We're here to help you thrive through your menopause, bringing you experts in many fields to help you from perimenopause to menopause and beyond to become the strong, vibrant woman nature intended you to be. Hosted by Pauline McCarthy of the Pearls of Pauline, pearls of wisdom, compassion, and joy.
Hello, welcome to this week's Menopause Morph, your time to change. Today we have back the amazing Dhumavati Ananda. She was on a couple of weeks ago and we got so many requests to hear more. So thankfully she was available. So in case you don't know anything about Dhumavati Ananda, she is a yoga teacher, but she also has a bachelor's in journalism and foreign languages. She has a master's degree in computer science and work science sociology. I think she spent a lot of her time studying. She began practicing yoga in 1989. Now, in 1989, how old would I have been? 29, yes. How old would you have been in 1989?
18.
18. My goodness, you were just very young. Then she became a certified yoga teacher in 1993 and a tantra teacher in 1994. Since then, she has been teaching yoga and tantra in many countries: Romania, Denmark, France, India, the Czech Republic, Hungary, Italy, Germany, Russia, Portugal, Spain, Serbia, Bosnia, Sweden, and Iceland. That's where we met, of course. She's also the founder of the Tantra for Women courses and Shakti groups and has been lecturing for more than 20 years on Tantra for Women and Shakti groups in over 45 cities in 14 countries. She later coordinated the international training course for Shakti group coordinators for women from all over the world who wish to become certified Tantra for Women teachers. Dhumavati Ananda has written a number of yoga and tantra articles in specialized journals in Romania, USA and Sweden, including the Om Yoga Om magazine, and she is also the author of 2 books. The first one is Women and the Astral Bodies, an insight into karmic astrology. The second one is Sacred Sexuality, the erotic, amorous level and the spiritual evolution. Dhumavati Ananda's dream is to assist in women's awakening all over the world and build an international sisterhood of enlightened, ecstatic, spiritualized women who regain their innate divine power. So welcome back.
Thank you very much. Nice to be back.
So it's really amazing that you have this goal to assist women to awaken their spirituality and regain their innate divine power, because I think most women in the world don't realize that they have this innate power.
No, and I can speak from my own experience how huge the transformation is when you bring back the spiritual dimension into your life. You start realizing actually more and more who you really are. You are more than a physical body. You are more than a name and an age. Much more. So without that, we are really not complete.
Yes. And I think in the Western world, for many, many centuries, women have been subjugated by men. And so it's kind of lost the balance of the world, because one or the other shouldn't subjugate each other. They should be harmonized together.
It's true. Actually, this subjugation, it's 5 millennia old. Not only a few centuries, and because of that, at the level of the collective subconscious, women unfortunately believe that they are the weaker sex, that they are, well, not as good as. So it's true.
But in the tantric tradition, how are women viewed?
In the tantric tradition, actually, the woman is in the center. She is the one initiating men, because due to even her anatomy, she is, for example, able to practice sexual continence while making love naturally, spontaneously, while a man needs to practice quite a lot in order to reach the same capacity. So in Tantra, the woman is revered, respected, adored. She's the one initiating.
My husband must be knowing about Tantra and doesn't really realize it because he adores me.
I'm very happy for both of you.
We had some letters and people were asking what practical things can they actually do, because you were talking in the last interview about alleviating the menstrual bleeding and improving menopausal symptoms or getting rid of menopausal symptoms completely. Could you talk a little bit more about that? What the practical exercises women can do?
Yes. So one thing which is very easy to do, it doesn't require any preparation, it doesn't require any extra time, is something which is called the fractionated peeing. So when you go to the toilet to pee, instead of just peeing as usual, you start peeing and you contract. So you stop the flow of urine. You start peeing again and you stop. So you do this 50, 60, 70 times per reservoir,
Yes.
if we can put it like that. Of course, this will be the ideal amount. But if you practice this, you train your body to lift up the energies. So sexual continence, if I have to put it extremely simple, almost simplistic, it means that you take care of your sexual energies. So instead of allowing them to go down, and then also with the energies will go down the sperm for men and the blood for women during the menstruation, or even during the lovemaking for women. There are some women who actually ejaculate. You teach the energies to flow up. So everything you do in order to achieve sexual continence is based on this, lifting up energies, it's not allowing them to go down. So when you pee like this, you actually train your body to lift up the energies. And while peeing fractional like that, so you start peeing a few drops and you stop.
So it's a bit like the Kegel exercises.
It's a little bit like that.
Yes.
And so while peeing like that, you will feel tingling sensation, warming vibrations along the spine. This shows that through the meridians in your body, a part of the energy which is contained in that fluid we call urine, it's actually going up in the system. So it's coming back. You reuse that. And if you also know about the chakra, you can actually lift that energy at the level of some chakra that you decide. Otherwise, it will just go up. So you don't have to pay so much attention if you don't want to activate a certain center of force or chakra. This will have as an effect also the fact that you have more vitality. You will feel that you have more energy. You can expel tiredness. If there are some problems, as for example, urinary incontinence, it will be gone after a while. So you don't have to worry about becoming urinary incontinent when you get older. And it's also re-educating the body with this lifting up of the energies. So the bleeding during the menstruations will be smaller, and it will balance also the hormonal system in time. Mm-hmm. So this is very simple to do.
Should you do that every single time you go to the toilet, or just once a day? Every single time?
Every single time. So I can tell you from my experience, I've learned this for approximately 25 years ago. Since then, that's the only way I pee. Okay. Maybe it's not the...
I'm having a strange imagination in my mind because yesterday my husband took me to he's into cars, old cars. And in the next town, Borgarnes, there was an antique car show. So we went and there was maybe 1,000 people there. And they had one toilet for men and women. You know, men and women. So the queue was enormous. And when you were saying this, I'm thinking, my goodness, if every woman was, because that must make the time that you're in the toilet much longer.
Not extremely much longer. It will take a little bit longer, but not so much more. So I can see your point. But, if you practice this exercise, you will be able to hold your pee for much longer. So even if it's a huge queue, you will not pee yourself.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah. Are there any other practical exercises that women can do?
Yes, the Kegel exercises, they should be done every day. And you can also add to it your creative imagination. So when you do the contraction of the vaginal muscles, you can in the same time see the walls of your vagina, which are made out of muscles, how they contract and then relax. So you connect the visual imagination to the actual muscle training. And you can enhance the effects so you can do the simple Kegel exercises, contract and relax, but you can do also this with connecting the visual image of it. And then you inhale and contract, and imagine how you contract the muscles.
Okay, so inhale, contract.
Yes,
And
and
then-
you see it.
Yeah, in your
You
mind.
have the mental image of it.
And then you
and
exhale
then you relax.
and you relax.
Yes, and have the mental image of it.
And you're doing it quite fast then, so you would be going.
Now you do it short, you do it in a normal pace.
Okay.
And in time, you should be able to contract and hold it, contract it as long as possible. You will see that as long as possible, it's actually short time.
Okay, so if you're desperate for the toilet, you should let a little bit of pee out and then contract it.
Yes.
And then hold your breath when you're contracting. Or no, not hold
No,
your breath.
this is another exercise.
Okay.
So we are done with the peeing.
Okay. Sorry, I'm completely misunderstood. I'm glad that you're here to correct me.
So we are done with the peeing. This is contraction of the vaginal muscles. This is the second exercise. Yes. And with the imagination. So with the mental image of what you do.
So we don't want to be peeing while we're focusing on the vagina.
Probably not.
unless you're into that thing. Somebody told me about it one time where women pee on a man's face. It was like golden showers. Yes, that's what they call it, golden showers.
Well,
we're not talking about golden showers here, ladies. No.
No.
Want to hear about that? Go somewhere else. So we're talking here about contracting the vagina and visualizing it.
Yes, and inhaling. So when you inhale when you contract, and you exhale when you relax the muscles.
Okay.
And you can make, for example, 5 contractions and relaxations, and then you take a break, and then 5 again. So you can do 5 sessions like this per day, and then you can increase. And all these exercises, except the fact that they keep your vaginal muscles toned. Again, lifting up the energies. Every time you contract, it's like a pump sending up the energies. And we need to educate our body to be able to do this as much as possible.
And so how many times a day should women do this?
Minimum 15 minutes.
15 minutes in a row, or can it be like 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, 5 minutes at night?
It can be like you described.
So it's like we could be driving to work and we could be practicing it.
Yes.
While we're driving to work, especially if we're stuck in a traffic jam.
Yes, exactly. I mentioned last time we spoke about diet or what we eat. This is really working. So if approximately 1 week before you cut down dairy proteins, even meat. So if for 1 week you can become a vegetarian, it will help a lot because the proteins, especially animal proteins, they are making the bleedings richer. So you will bleed more. So what we eat also affects us. So you will also notice that if you eat a little bit more simple food, cooked food, not so many staked food or with hot spices, chocolate, proteins, the bleedings during the menstruation will be less as a period of time, but also as a quantity.
When you said staked food, do you mean fried food?
Yes, and steaks and fried food, yes.
Because in Icelandic, the word to fry is steikja, and I was thinking maybe in Sweden it's the same.
Yes, it is.
Because sometimes when I'm speaking English now, I'm popping in a few Icelandic words, and when I talk to my family, they're going, what? And I say, oh, that's an Icelandic word, sorry.
Yes, so fried food, fried food, or having a steak, better not. So cooked foods, and if possible, vegetarian food for a week before the menstruation.
Okay.
Another practical aspect that you can do is cold showers, but local showers. It is like this. You go into the bathroom and then cold water. You take the shower, the mouth of the shower, and put the cold water between anus and sex. So where you have the PC muscle for a few seconds, not more. And then you have to lie down and just relax and take a lot of warm clothes so you will not feel that you get a cold. This will start training the very, very fine muscles, which are also in that area. And every time the contractions appear there, the energies lift up. So this is also something practical that you can do in order to diminish the bleedings.
Okay, so the shower, it shouldn't be like on a big spray, because then it will go spray everywhere. You should make it just like it's, maybe take the head off the shower, and so it's just like the hose. It comes out like that.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. But just a few seconds, because women are very sensitive in that area. So it's just a few seconds, long enough, few seconds long enough so that the muscles contract because the water is cold.
Yes.
And then you just lie down in the bed, you cover yourself with some warm blankets and just relax. And you will feel also how the energies are flowing along the spine.
They're trying to get away from the cold.
Exactly.
Oh, I don't like this cold. I'm running away.
So this is also another thing that you can do in order to diminish the bleeding during the menstruation. There is a Tao exercise, which is also very, very efficient. It's called the deer technique, like the animal.
Oh dear. Yes. How does
So
that work?
you start by rubbing your hands like this until they get very, very hot. And then you place them on top of your breasts and you feel how the breasts are absorbing the heat from the hands for a minute, no, not longer. And then you have to sit in such a way that you place your heel. If you think this is the heel, you place the entrance of your vagina on top of your heel. So it's pressured against the vagina. And then with the hands on the breasts, the naked breasts, you start massaging the breasts from the middle down and around like this. So if you do this, the breast will grow a little bit bigger, or from the middle like that outwards. And this will make the breast firmer. They will become firm. And you do between 36 up to 360 rotations. So minimum 36, maximum 360.
Okay, so you do this breast massage while your heel is touching the vagina.
Pressing against it.
Okay, so are we sitting?
If you can't,
are we sitting on the floor with one leg drawn up so that it's pressing on the vagina, or are we kneeling down so that we're almost sitting on the heel?
You can do the second option, but maybe not on the floor because it's a bit hard. You can be on the corner of the bed, for example, or on a chair with one leg folded under you. So the heel is pressing against the entrance of your vagina. So after you are done with the massage, bigger, firmer.
So it's like in Karate Kid. Wax on, wax off,
exactly.
Wax on, wax off. So when we're going towards the heart, let's say, that is making them bigger.
So from the middle down and around, it's bigger. From the middle up and around, it's firmer.
Yes.
So if you think from the middle down, it's bigger. From the middle up, it's firmer.
Okay.
You can have some olive oil on your hands because otherwise it will be a little bit harsh. Yes. So you can have some olive oil on your hands when you do the massage. So this was the second stage. And the last stage, now you can relax. You can even lie down. And for 10-15 minutes, you do the Kegel exercises. So this is the deer technique. And except diminishing the bleedings and balancing the hormonal system, you can also use it as a prevention against tumors in the breasts, cancer tumors in the breasts. You will have a lot of energy. All these exercises are increasing your vital energy quite a lot, and also the erotic one. So if you feel more alive sexually, it's because of the exercises.
So maybe we should wake up like half an hour before our husbands and do these little exercises and then crawl back into bed and have a happy time.
For sure, it works.
But like when people talk about Tantra, they automatically assume it's just about sex, but it's not just about sex, is it?
No, Tantra is a complex system and it's about becoming aware of everything we are as a human being. But if you look in the society nowadays, you don't have so many people who are experts in everything. They know everything about one aspect. So this is one part of the story. And the second part of the story is we live in a consumerism society. And you even use this expression, sex sells. No matter what you do, if you want to sell a car or a toothpaste or doesn't matter what, you have a half-naked woman or a half-naked man selling the product because they think sex sells. So with Tantra, most people take only the sexual aspect of it because sex sells. So it also says something about those teaching Tantra. If you teach only the sexual aspect of it, you just want to make some money with it. If you teach Tantra in order to help people develop, evolve, transform, you'll teach the whole system, not only the juicy or the attractive part of it, so to say, the commercial part of it.
Yeah, it's amazing. These Tantra things, they're coming from India from how many centuries back?
So the Tantra system is approximately 6,000-7,000 years old. And from Tantra, Tao took inspiration. So the Tao system is also derived actually from Tantra.
Okay, I didn't know that. Interesting. In the lessons that I've been going to, he's been talking about yin and yang. So this is originally coming from the Tantric Indian tradition, and then that was learned through Tao into the Chinese tradition.
Yes, and Japanese also.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Sorry, I'm interrupting your train of thought.
Not at all.
Yeah. So do you have any other sneaky little tricks we have? It's not sneaky little tricks, but you know what I mean, like tricks on how to... Tips, not tricks, tips.
If you practice yoga, all the upside down postures help. So if you think in these terms that in order to diminish the bleedings or to balance the hormonal systems with the menopause, you need to educate your body to lift up the energies. So in the yoga system, all upside down poses, they are helping with it. So even if they have their specific effects, for sure, you re-educate your body to lift up the energy. So all the yoga postures that are upside down from the yoga system, they help also with that.
And like the only thing that I can think of upside down would be like standing on your head.
It's one, but there are many others. For example, if you lie down on your back and then you lift up your body as much as you can, then you place your hands on your back. So if you think that you lie down, then you place your hands on your back with the body up. This is also an upside down pose, which will make the energies flow upwards instead of downwards. So it's not only the headstand in yoga, there are a lot of upside down positions. Even lying down with legs up.
When people do a yoga pose, how long should they stay in that pose for?
Again, this is very individual. So the recommendation, the rule number one in yoga is don't force your physical body to do more than it can right now. It's rule number one. And rule number two is mental concentration, or principle number two. Mental concentration, it's more important than doing the physical pose perfectly. If you do a pose and you are completely focused, you can have even 100% of the effects. If you do a physical pose perfectly, but your mind is around the corner,
thinking about what you have to buy for the shopping or something like that, yeah.
Maybe you'll have 15% of the effects.
In this gymnastic yoga, we'll call it, across the road, they were holding the pose for 5 seconds.
Oh, no.
The class that I'm going to in Reykjavik, we don't do very many poses, but we're holding the pose. To me, it seems like an eternity, especially when it's difficult, because it's not really difficult, but because my body is so out of shape. For example, there's one where you just bend over and you touch your toes, which...
Yes.
I can do. I'm surprised. just about, but you have to stay like that, and it must be a few minutes, and it begins to get really uncomfortable. Of course, she says, just come up and move.
Exactly, yeah.
But I can see the difference there, that in the traditional yoga, you stay in a pose for a time period, like minutes.
Yes.
Not just seconds.
Because the longer you stay, the better the focus. And in traditional yoga, we speak about resonance. So when you do a physical posture, it's like you create a body language. So as long as you keep that posture, your being is in resonance, in tune with energies. It's like you are a radio station, receiving a signal. So the longer you stay on that program, on that frequency, the more energy you can get. So this is the reason. It's the resonance. The longer you keep the pose, the more energy you get into the system due to resonance, because you tune your body on a certain frequency. So it's your body, it's the receiver, and the universe is the transmitter, so to say. So you charge yourself with the energy. If you keep it for 5 seconds, you maybe take 2 drops. If you keep it for 5 minutes, you'll have 1 kilo of that energy.
Amazing.
And in yoga, they even say like this: if you can keep a pose for 3 hours and 48 minutes, it will guarantee that you enter in an ecstasy state, because you have so much of that energy. You will get over a certain threshold.
That's a very unusual number, 3 hours and 48 minutes. Wow. Science, yeah.
It's a very precise science, yoga.
Wow, it's amazing. So we had the P contractions, we had the vagina contractions, and we had the cold water on the place in between the vagina and the anus, and then lying down.
Yes.
Was there another one?
Yes, the deer technique with the breast massage.
Oh, the deer. Oh, yes. Oh, can't forget that.
And the food.
So the breast massage and the foot is at the same time. The heel.
The heel, yes. And diet, or the food, what you eat, is also important. And also, you can, if you have inclination towards it, you can write down in a journal what kind of predominant emotions you have had during that day. And you will notice, if you keep the journal for a couple of months, there is like a curve, which is approximately the same. After the menstruation, you'll start feeling better, emotionally you are happier, and then before the menstruation, the curve goes down. And you start getting irritated or depressed, so you will entering the premenstrual symptoms. So one thing you might want to do is become aware of your emotional patterns. You will notice that they have the tendency to repeat themselves in connection with the menstrual cycle.
I'm writing all this down.
And one more thing, which is extremely helpful, is phytotherapy.
Physiotherapy or phytotherapy?
Phytotherapy, so therapy with herbs. Yes.
Phytotherapy. Okay. Phyto isn't like the plants.
Plants, yes, therapy with plants. Because there are herbs, plants, which help a lot with regulating the hormonal cycle. So you can take herbs or plants 4 times a day.
What kind of herbs and plants?
I am not so good with the English names of those. But for example, basil, it's one of them. Peppermint, just to take the easiest ones for me to remember in English. Lady's mantle. It's a herb which is extremely useful for the menstruation. So if you take lady's mantle 4 times a day, 1 gram, and there is also a certain way of taking herbs. The herbs should be dry, like a powder. You take 1 teaspoon under your tongue. You take a few drops of water so they can be soaked a little bit, and then after 15 minutes you swallow the water.
So under the tongue for 15 minutes and then swallow.
And 4 times a day if you do this. So lady's mantle is the anti-bleeding herb.
So basil, peppermint and lady's mantle. And you took it in a dried form?
Yes.
And you put it under your tongue for 15 minutes?
And it should be like a powder so you don't hurt.
So how would they make it into a powder? Like use a mortar and pestle?
Yeah, I have actually a coffee machine, this electric machine, but I don't drink coffee. I use it instead to grind the herbs.
I use mine for my flaxseed, grind the flaxseed.
Yeah.
But my husband's coffee machine, it broke. And so he got another, and he used to have this machine, that big fancy one that you put beans in and all kind of strange coffees came out the other end. And we had it for years. My mother-in-law bought it for us as a housewarming when we moved into this house. So we'd had it for many years. And it died 3 times and he revived it. You know, he's a wonderful mechanic. But this time it was like completely kaput. And to buy the same kind of machine is like phenomenal money. So we just got one of these filter machines. But we had all these bags of coffee beans. So he borrowed my thing and he's grinding these beans for this.
I just have a very simple one which costed like 6 or 7 euro.
Yeah, maybe I should buy myself another grinder and just let him keep that one, because now I feel, because I almost never drink coffee, maybe once a month, even though I can clean it out. I don't know, maybe it's the energies and things, like, you know, because I've been always using it for my seeds, that once there's been coffee in it, it's like contaminated.
So you can have that one to also grind some herbs and take it. It's really very efficient.
Okay, so any other words of wisdom you would like to teach us?
If you practice these things every day, you will see the results quite soon. So daily practice, it's the key to success.
Can't promise to do all. I think the breast one, I don't, maybe a big I don't need to make, but firm maybe, because when you get menopausal, it's kind of sagging a little bit. Well, my husband would be happy with that if I make them a little more perky. Especially now I've been on this diet, I'm determined now to lose 20 kilos.
Okay.
I have lost 4. And so I know that if I lose 20 kilos, my breasts will be pretty saggy.
You can prevent that.
But if I do that, yes, I prevent that by doing the exercises.
And if you want to make it a little bit intimate, you can ask your husband to massage them for you.
Oh, he would be up for that right away. He's not interested in all this menopause stuff that I do, but I think if I tell him this, he'll be going, oh yes, I can help you there. My goodness. Some men are like interested in a woman's face or breasts or butts or something. But my husband is a tip man, definitely.
You see, you'll make him happy.
Yeah. He never listens to this podcast anyway, so it doesn't matter. I can tell everybody, the whole world, about this. On our first date, I was wearing this dress. It was a little bit low cut, and we were in a restaurant, and he was talking to me, and he's got quite thick glasses, so he wasn't looking at me, and I'm thinking, oh, it was the glasses or something. But then it was bugging me because sometimes he would look at me in the eyes, but other times he was looking down, and I'm thinking, what is he looking at? And then I sort of followed his eye line, and I thought, he's looking at my breasts. My goodness. Anyway, so he's a lovely guy. But there you go. That'll be his treat.
Yes. And if you want to make the massage oil for the breasts working extra well, you can add to this virgin cold pressed olive oil. You can put etherical oil, fennel, and dill. Because fennel and dill, they both contain phytoestrogen, natural. So if you have 100 milliliter olive oil, and then you just 5 drops of essential oil of dill and 5 drops of fennel, essential oil, then you prepare yourself a breast oil with phytoestrogens.
So 5 drops essential oil of dill and 5 drops essential oil of fennel. I'm going to have a lady on in a few weeks about essential oils again. When I first started the podcast in 2015, we had a couple of things about essential oils. But this lady, her name is Dr. Maritza, and she's focusing on menopause. The other ladies, they were doing all sorts of things, and they didn't know so much about menopause as this lady. So I will maybe ask her if I can get from her some dill oil and fennel oil, because it might be very difficult to get in Iceland.
They need to be 100% natural.
Pure,
So not chemicals.
I think she gets her things from a company called doTERRA.
Okay.
And I've heard many good things about them.
I'm taking mine from Romania. There is a company called Steaua Divina, which means the divine star. And they have essential oils which are pure. And because it's Romania, they cost very little. So if your colleagues from Nata Yoga Center, if any one of them are going to the International Yoga Symposium in August to Romania, just ask them to bring you some. I think they even have a web page.
Yes, I'm going to spell it for people. It's Steaua, and then the next word is Divina, Divina.
And they have also a homepage. I don't know if you can order directly, if they send like that, but I give you the web page nevertheless.
Okay, I'll put that in the show notes for people. Lovely. Steaudivina.ro.
Steaua Divina.
Steaua. And would the page be only in Romanian, or would it be in English as well?
I am looking at it right now and I can't see English now.
Okay, so we'll find a way to let people know how to get this. Maybe they can just contact me. I can organise it for them and get it sent to them. So if you're wanting to get this essential oil of dill and fennel, what does it do to your breasts again?
They contain herb estrogens, phytoestrogens. And also this company, they have herbs for or against the bleeding during the menstruation. They have a mixture of herbs, so you just buy them and eat them.
Okay, I will contact them and ask them all about this. Yes, because I'm always interested in anything that will help women through their perimenopause and menopause. Okay, our time is getting to the end. So, any last words you would like to give the listeners?
I'm very grateful that you invited me again. And I will have to just repeat myself. Daily practice is the key to success.
Wonderful. So, my darlings, thank you very much. We have a lot of little tips here that we're going to do. P contractions, vagina contractions, freezing our private parts, then cuddling up warm. Breast massage with when you're sitting on your heel. Oh, the heel, is it your right heel or your left heel? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. If you have a difficulty sitting like that, you can use a tennis ball and just sit on the tennis ball.
I think I'll be doing that one. That sounds easier for me. Yes. And then the diet will help. Okay.
Yes. And the phytotherapy.
Phytotherapy. Wonderful. So thank you very much, Dhumavati Ananda, for coming.
Thank you, Pauline. It's always lovely to be with you.
And we'll see you in Iceland in the autumn. Yay!
Yes, definitely.
Maybe we can advertise it through the podcast.
Yeah.
How long will we be coming to Iceland?
It will be like the last time. So workshop will be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I will be probably able to come Thursday and then leave Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
So not so long.
Maybe I can try and sneak in a one-day workshop for menopause or something like that. I'll organize that for you.
Yes, because I was speaking with Magdalena, the one who is coordinating the Nata Yoga Center in Reykjavik.
Yes.
And she said that Friday it's maybe not so good to have the workshop. So we can start it on Saturday and having Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
And then we can have Friday for the workshop.
Sounds like a plan.
Or at least half.
Okay. Thank you very much. And
thank you.
We'll see you all on the next week.
Thanks for listening to Menopause Morph, your time to change. If you've enjoyed the program, be sure to subscribe to the next one and please leave a rating and review on iTunes to help us spread the message about thriving through the menopause. To get a free ebook, more menopausal resources, and to connect with Pauline, please visit www.menopausemorph.com.